Hi everyone, the Great Goddess of Great Reading here. Today I will be reviewing Stuart Knight's You Should Have Asked, The Art of Powerful Conversation. Have you ever stopped to think about the role conversation plays in your life? The human mind is the greatest circus on earth, and with the right questions you get to swing from rafters, fight lions, and jump through rings of fire. And every circus is different, each with the potential to take you on an unexpected journey. Whether it is the police officer pulling you over or a colleague in the next cubicle, every person you meet has a fascinating story to tell. This book helps you arrive at the next chapter and pushes you to read further into yourself. Ask the right question and you will attract your dream job. Move deeper into your relationship and get across the border in a timely fashion. It was powerful conversations that put a man on the moon, pulled innocent women from behind bars, and placed your fork on the left side of your plate. The deliberate exchange of words can ignite our next adventure, help us understand our shortcomings, and confirm our beliefs. We are the true conductors of our fate and the interpreters of our past. By committing ourselves to the art of powerful conversation, we become the leaders of the moment. So in case you couldn't tell, this book isn't exactly like every other book I've read before, meaning that it is not a fiction novel. It is sort of a guide to learning how to talk with people and create interesting conversations and not just sort of let a conversation die. You know when you have a conversation with someone and you start to feel like you've run out of things to say? Well, this book kind of helps you not just talk about the things that are going on in your life and going on in that person's life you're talking to and the things that kind of go together, like things that involve both your life and their life that interweb. Sometimes you run out of those things to say. So this book kind of lets you ask creative questions and tells you how to ask creative questions and how to keep asking questions upon the answers you get to those questions. That's kind of the secret that he tells you, is if you want to create interesting conversations, all you have to do is, 1, don't ask a mediocre question next, and 2, don't ask a question that's completely different from what that person was talking about in the first place. Those two things seem like really easy tricks, but we don't really think about how we talk to people a lot, and this book was really helpful in making me see that I may be afraid to talk to people sometimes, people that I even know really well, like my own family and my own friends, and I might be scared to ask them things that might be interesting and might allow them to tell their story, and that's something not a lot of people get to do. I actually had the pleasure of meeting the author of this novel at a leadership summit at my school recently, and he was talking about the art of conversation in terms of getting far in your career. So using it in interviews and using it with networking on the job to sort of further your career, and it's really helpful in that aspect too. This conversation isn't just in your day-to-day life, it's really helpful to open up opportunities for you that you may not have had access to before. One of the funny things I thought was really true in this book, and he also did it when I saw him, Stuart Knight, at this conference, he asked the audience, and he asks the readers when you're reading the book, how many people have texted someone who is less than 20 feet away from them? And a lot of people in the audience raised their hand. The next question was, how many people have called someone and prayed to God that they got the answering machine and they didn't have to talk to the person? I know it's terrible, but a lot of people in the audience raise their hand at that, and it's kind of sad that we are so afraid to talk to people and to just have conversations with them. So I think reading this book would be really beneficial for people who do have already problems talking to people in general, but even for people who think they have the art of conversation down, you might not. You might just be talking about yourself a lot and you don't realize, or you're just not talking about anything interesting to the other person. Because as much as you want to tell someone your story, they're not going to be interested in your story unless you let them tell theirs. And I know that kind of sounds like, oh well, why should I be the one to have to engage them in doing that? Why can't they be the one? I know, but maybe they haven't read this book, maybe they don't know, and maybe they need someone like you who has read the book, because you would want to, I'm sure. Someone who has read the book will be able to open up that world for them and create that powerful conversation that will then enable them to have a conversation like that with someone else. If you have trouble with talking to people, or if you want to find out how to create interesting conversations with new people and the people you already know and love, pick up Stuart Knight's You Should Have Asked, The Art of Powerful Conversation. I'm Evie, the Greek goddess of great reading, and until next time, keep reading.